Hello, I'm Lucas, and this is a bit of lit, and we're talking about book 5 for Paradise Lost. Excuse me while I adjust my little tripod for my phone. And let me give a quick rundown. This is the second time I'm making this video, so I'm going to try and make it a bit faster, so as not to waste more time. Adam and Eve wake up. Adam slept great. Eve did not, because she was hearing the whisperings of Satan in her ear, and she had this horrible vision of him providing a fruit from the tree of life, tree of knowledge, and tempting her with it. And Adam says, "Oh, don't worry about it. You have reason and God behind you, and you'll be fine. We'll be fine because we have our mental faculties to make the right choice." God sends Raphael, the angel, to warn them about Satan so that they can't make any excuses about, don't say I didn't warn you. They can't make excuses about Satan tricking them and sneaking up on them. And so Raphael joins them for a nice conversation meal thing, and talks about everything they were given with Eden, and talks about Satan and why he rebelled and how he fell, which is the part I'm going to focus on mostly. Because I don't think that there's some questions I have that, I come to this text as a fan of Paradise Lost. I think it's a wonderful poem. I think it's an excellent story that comes from the book of Genesis in the Old Testament of the Bible. But I'm not, it's not really my thing, but I have an intellectual curiosity about it, so I still enjoy it. There's a lot of difficulties reconciling why God acts the way he does, because he seems kind of not that great at times. I know he's omnipotent, all-powerful, and the creator, and we should give praise to him and all that stuff, but just looking at this from this as a story, right? That's how I'm looking at it. I know it's about a religious thing. I'm not trying to disparage anything, but why does he need to warn Adam and Eve? I'll get into that. So, anyway, we have some very important facts to get to about why he acts this way. And God has an announcement for all the angels of heaven. "Hear, all ye angels, progeny of light, thrones, dominations, princedoms, virtues, powers. Hear my decree, which unrevoked shall stand. This day I have begot whom I declare my only Son, and on this holy hill him have anointed, whom ye now behold at my right hand. Your head I him appoint, and by myself have sworn, to him shall bow all knees in heaven, and shall confess him Lord, under his great vicegerent. Reign abide united, as one individual soul, forever happy. Him who disobeys, me disobeys, breaks union, and that day, cast out from God and blessed vision, falls into utter darkness, deep engulfed, his place ordained without redemption, without end," which we've seen. Satan and his fallen posse of angels, they were condemned to hell for eternal damnation. But this doesn't make Satan happy. Let's just say that. Yet fraught with in favor and preeminence, if not the first archangel, great in power, in favor and preeminence, yet fraught with envy against the Son of God, that day honored by his great father and proclaimed Messiah. King anointed, could not bear through pride that sight, and thought himself impaired. Yeah, it's difficult to wrap my head around God's thinking here. So he sends Raphael to warn Adam and Eve, who he's given free will, so that they can sincerely love him for everything that they have. Okay, I get that. He created the angels. They have free will, as far as I can tell. They serve, and they have different levels of. They have a hierarchy of power, right? And as far as I could tell from reading it and kind of rereading parts to make sure, Satan was pretty content with what he had, right? He said it was easy. He thought what God had given was actually worth praise, but he felt too much pride, so he acted. And we've seen that, and we've seen his doubts in the last chapter, and we've seen his pride in the last chapter and other chapters. And now we're seeing what poked the bear, so to speak. Sends Raphael to warn Adam and Eve about Satan, who's going to tempt them because he wants to ruin them, because he was sent to eternal damnation, because he rebelled against God, because God created the Son of God and made him the Messiah. Which makes me think, why did he do any of this? I mean, I guess I know why, but it just, and then the Messiah, the Son of God, Jesus, is going to sacrifice himself to forgive humanity for all of its crimes and sin, or all of its sins, or at least ones that repent. And yeah, it doesn't really make sense to me. But, you know, I know all the stories, I know all the good parts of the, you know, what the Bible and all that stuff. I'm not trying to disparage anything. Like I said, it's an intellectual curiosity for me. But it's hard to reconcile that. You know, if you look at it not from a place of faith, but a place of intellectual curiosity, it's, you know, a head scratcher. You know, maybe the next 5 books will better explain it. Certainly, you know, if you can see all the good things and great things that God has done for the angels and Adam and Eve, there's no doubt about that. Given the state of the Garden of Eden, it's a wonderful place. And they have all these great things in their lives, and they have dominion over a lot. But yeah, it's confusing. Anyway, Satan is upset about this. He's envious, and his pride has been hurt. He was content with the level of power that he had, it seems, because we get this amazing speech, and he starts talking with Abdiel, I believe, as well. Anyway, I believe this is Satan. Thrones, dominations, princedoms, virtues, powers, if these magnific titles yet remain not merely titular, since by decree another now hath to himself engrossed all power, and us eclipsed under this name of King Anointed, for whom all this haste of midnight march and hurried meeting here, this only to consult how we may best, with what may be devised of honors new, receive him coming to receive from us, me tribute yet unpaid, prostration vile, too much to one, but double how endured to one and to his image now proclaimed, But what if better counsels might erect our minds and teach us to cast off this yoke? And he goes on. He is livid. I don't want to quote everything. This is already getting a little bit long. But he is just livid, and he starts talking with Abdiel, I believe, who defends God and his choice and the Son of God. And yeah, I really love how relatable it feels, right? Because the angels have their hierarchy, it seems, and Satan seemed content with what he had. But then, out of nowhere, God begets the Son of God to be his right-hand man and to be the King anointed, the Messiah. And now they all have to kneel to him, not just to God, but to him, who is also him, which just adds more to the confusion. Because Jesus is God, Jesus is God. Anyway, maybe biblical scholars know much better than I do. And I was going to say something else, and I totally forgot. So I'll just quote this next part. Who saw when this creation was? Rememberest thou thy making? While the Maker gave thee being, we know no time when we were not as now. Know none before us, self-begot, self-raised by our own quickening power, when fatal course had circled his full orb, the birth mature of this our native heaven, ethereal sons. Our puissance is our own right hand shall teach us highest deeds, by proof to try who is our equal. Then thou shalt behold, whether by supplication we intend address, and to begirt the almighty throne, beseeching or besieging. It's called action by Satan. And after that, Abdiel heads off. But it's call to action. He's saying, I don't, who knows when he was made? Who knows when we were made? All we can do is use our own power, right? And make our own right hand and teach highest deeds. And, one way or another, we're going to take the throne. And I think at that point, the third of the angels that join him must have also been riled up by this, sort of an affront to their ambitions and titles, which seem meaningless now that there's another person who's just given all this power out of like that. So it really makes him a lot more relatable because he feels like he's suffering from the wrong side of nepotism. And, like I said, there's so much depth to Satan, and you relate to him until, of course, he acts out, and he gets it in his mind that there's, no matter what, we're gonna either take this diplomatically or wage war. And that's where the line has to be drawn, right? Anyway, doesn't make him a good character, just makes him relatable, makes God very confusing. But we'll be back with Book 6 another day. Thank you.